Hey y'all, it's me, Emerald from The Rice Life, and if you're tired of seeing me in the bathroom this week, I apologize, but this is one of the only places that's like decently lit and quiet. So yeah, okay you guys, as you can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be about, I guess I was going to say all things breastfeeding, but not really. It will just be about breastfeeding basics. So, and y'all know I'm still getting over this sinus, cold, whatever this thing is. So anyway, I have 13 items so far. I was just like throughout my day, I was just writing certain things down that that would come to mind. But I get asked a lot about breastfeeding. That is one of my top, that's one of the top questions that I get asked. And I guess to do a little backstory, I have 3 children, in case this is like the first video you ever seen of mine. I have 3 children. Kane Ray is 5, Carson Annalie is 3, and Kylan is 1. But Carson and Kylan will be both 4 and 2 next month. But anyway, so with Kane, I had a really hard time breastfeeding him. I just couldn't get the hang of it. Like, I lacked support. There were a lot of things that that played a part in our relationship, or lack thereof, so our breastfeeding relationship. So I ended up exclusively pumping for Kane for 1 year. And and so then with Carson, who was my second, who's my daughter, I nursed her for 26 months. And I actually nursed Carson while pregnant with Kylan. So when Kylan was born, Carson was like 24 months. Yeah, because they were both born in October. So she was, I know y'all like, girl, you still counting in months? Yes. And so Carson was 2 when Kylan was born. They were both born in October. And so she nursed for like 2 more months after that. But I nursed her throughout Kylan's pregnancy. And, once he was born, obviously they tandem nurse, which means that they nurse at the same time. So I have been breastfeeding or pregnant for about 5 years now, a little over 5 years. So yeah, y'all, that's the backstory. So if you're like, why does she feel like she's even qualified or whatever to give us any kind of information, y'all, I have that experience. And actually Kylan is still nursing. He turns 2 next month. But so not only do I have that experience, but I'm also a certified breastfeeding peer counselor. So yeah, I never thought in a million years, if you've been following my journey, with my children for the past 5 years of their lives, I would have never believed that my testimony would have turned into a job for me, because I had it was a lot of trial and error with Kane. It was a lot of, just beating myself up about our breastfeeding relationship and that kind of thing. And so I had no clue that a breastfeeding peer counselor even existed, because I actually had my master's degree in counseling. And then I loved everything breastfeeding, baby wearing, cloth diapering, natural birth, you name it, you guys. So when I was offered the position of a breastfeeding peer counselor, it was like my 2 loves in one job, you guys. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm going to give you guys a few tips for just establishing a good breastfeeding relationship, off the bat, and just breastfeeding basics, I guess. These are the things that I do have clients, and when the clients come to me and they need information, this is the stuff that I give them. Like, once you have all these off your checklist, then there may be an issue that even I can't help you with, because these are usually, if you can get through these issues, or you cannot introduce these things, or whatever, you guys, you'll see when I go through. But if you can get through these, then I'm pretty sure you'll have an awesome breastfeeding experience. So anyway, I'm gonna get right into it. There are 13 points. I'm not gonna elaborate too much, you guys, because I want this to be a super long video. If you want me to go in detail about a certain thing, you can message me, or you can just comment below and I'll try to answer. But like I said, these are in no particular order. So the first thing I have is to nurse immediately after delivery. And y'all, that is key to establishing a great breastfeeding relationship, you guys. I know with my first, I didn't latch him on for like 8 hours, because an LC, or a lactation consultant, wasn't on staff. He was born on Valentine's Day. And so I remember YouTubing how to latch a baby on, and it felt weird, and I didn't know if I had it right, and I was a new mom, and I didn't know what it was supposed to feel like. So so that definitely hindered our relationship, because guys, it took so long to latch him on, and he was hungry, and it was just a mess, you guys. So so just latch the baby on. I usually do, I've got 3 children, and with Carson and Kylan, Carson, she actually crawled up my chest as soon as she was born, and she rooted and latched on. I never had to position her or anything. She did what's called biological nurturing, or biological breastfeeding, or biological nurturing, whatever you want to call it. So where she basically rooted and latched on. So I never had to latch her on. Kylan, as soon as he was born, we were in the water still, and I just stuck my breast in his mouth, and he has been nursing ever since. So but I do feel the key is to latch the baby on immediately, you guys. It just helps with the bonding, and it just helps get things started. So that's number 1. Number 2 is assess/establish a good latch, or the latch in general. I have so many moms that say, I think I'm doing it right. I don't know, it hurts. Is it supposed to hurt? You know, all the things that you worry about with breastfeeding, because there's this big myth, and I call it a myth, you guys, because once you get a perfect latch, it will not hurt. It may seem uncomfortable at first just because you're not used to like a little piranha like nursing on you, but it should never hurt, you know what I mean? And so a lot of people come with the preconceived notion that, oh my God, it's gonna hurt, it's the worst pain in the world. And so they think that it's supposed to hurt, and they think their nipples are supposed to be cracking and bleeding and peeling off, and that's not the case, you guys. So definitely establish and assess the latch to make sure that the baby is latched well. And that's like, to me, you guys, that's like 85% of the breastfeeding experience. Like 85% of knowing whether or not you're doing a wonderful job is the baby's latch. So yeah. Number 3, nurse 8 to 12 times in 24 hours. A lot of moms that I meet, they'll say, oh, my milk dried up right away, or I didn't have milk, and all this kind of stuff. And I would say, well, how often were you nursing? Oh, every 4 to 6 hours. And you guys, you will not produce milk that way. You have to latch that baby on at least eight times within a 24-hour period. I'm more on the 10 to 12 side, and some babies nurse a lot more often than that, you guys. So just make sure that you are, especially in the beginning, nursing on demand, because nursing on demand will ensure that you that your milk will come in, that you will have a supply, and that you will have a supply for the baby to regulate. Because if the baby's not latching on, it's not telling your body to produce milk. So yeah, so nurse that baby, y'all, 8 to 12 times a day. I'm more on the 12 side, you guys. And yeah, so number 4 is avoid bottles and pacifiers until the latch is established. I am not a proponent of pacifiers. My kids don't use pacifiers, and that's just my personal preference, you guys. And I think it's because I may be scarred from my first. I had my first in the hospital, and I had my second two in at a birth center. And so in the hospital, he got a pacifier like right away, even though I was trying to breastfeed. So I definitely say avoid the pacifier until the latch is established, because the baby sucks on a pacifier a lot different than he does a breast. So make sure that you establish the latch. And yeah, and you know, the typical rule is introduce the bottle when you feel like the latch is established, or that kind of thing. I once again, my last two never used the bottle, and I'm not sure if I just introduced it late, or if they, you know, a lot of breastfed babies just don't like bottles, and I wasn't gonna go through 20 different bottles to find out what my baby liked. So I was at home with them, and I just nursed on demand. But definitely make sure before you introduce any kind of bottle that the latch is well established, or you will pretty much ruin your breastfeeding relationship. Or I'm not gonna say ruin, but it will be really hard to keep it sustained. So yeah, let's see, number 5, if you are engorged, use warm and cold compresses, and that's just help with inflammation and pain and all that kind of stuff, y'all. So so yeah, like warm showers, you're just expressing the milk that way, massaging, that kind of thing, guys. Don't feel like you need to just sit there with big rock hard breasts. If your baby isn't emptying them enough, make sure that you're expressing that milk. So yeah. And that gets me to number 6, pump to relieve engorgement, but do not pump too much. Like, you should just pump enough to feel relief, but you got to think, the more you pump, the more you make. So if you're engorged and then you pump, it's going to send a signal to your brain saying, oh, they're empty, they need to be filled again. So you're going to stay engorged, and especially if your baby's latching on and getting the milk that it needs, and then you're pumping extra, you're going to stay looking like Dolly Parton, okay? So I'm a big proponent of ditching the pump and only using it if you need to, like if you need to just relieve the pressure, relieve the pain, but definitely put that baby on, you guys, because that baby is there to regulate your supply. So yeah, so that's that. Number 7, massage breast while nursing to help with the milk flow, and that's also another engorgement type thing. Like I said, y'all, these are things that I tell my new moms, or not even new moms, mom that want to breastfeed for the 2nd to 4th time. I tell them this, you know, just massage, you know, it just helps, you know, move things around, and it just feels good. So just massage them, y'all, keep them nice and supple. So again, that will definitely help with milk flow also, especially like if you're in the shower, you're a little engorged, just, you know, massage them and hand express and that kind of thing. So just to relieve, like just enough to relieve the discomfort, not enough to fill bottles, you know, because you also want that baby getting that, you know, regulating your supply. So number 8 is eat and drink. I was terrible about this with my first, and I was really bad about eating and drinking. And so I always make it a point, like when I'm nursing, to just have like a snack beside me, like especially when they're little newbies and you're just sitting in the rocking chair. I always have snacks with me and like a bottle of water or something, you guys, because you want to stay hydrated, and you want to stay, you want to stay, you know, hydrated and eating healthy. So yeah, eat and drink, you guys. And so number 9, I put nurse on demand. And I mainly put that because nursing on demand will just ensure that your supply is regulated, your baby's getting what it needs, and you don't have to worry about, okay, it's been exactly 1.5 hours, it's been exactly an hour, it's been exactly 2 hours. Like you won't worry about the clock so much. You worry more about your baby's biological signs and their needs, and you will focus on the baby more as opposed to the clock. So I'm a big believer in nursing on demand. Number 10, empty one breast before switching sides, and that's to avoid a fore milk, hind milk imbalance. And so, you know, a lot of people will say, nurse the baby for so-and-so on this side, the switching to this side. I definitely say when your baby seems content with one breast, then your baby's content. So when you have the next feeding, put the baby on the other side, you guys. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward, guys. Just make sure that your breast feels empty and feels like, you know, you don't want to feel big, heavy, and engorged, and then put the baby on the other side, because the baby will most likely not get your hind milk from the other breast. So don't go switching every single feeding unless you feel that that breast is okay, you know, it's nice and supple and the baby's got what it needs. Now I can go to the other side. So empty both sides, y'all. Number 11, express milk on sore/cracked nipples and allow them to air dry. A lot of people love lanolin, and lanolin is awesome, but the best healer is breast milk, you guys. So if you have sore, cracked nipples, you guys, just express a little bit of your milk onto your nipples and walk around the house shirtless. They will dry and they will heal in no time, you guys. And a lot of times too with people, they a lot of moms that I know, they get out of the shower and their breasts are wet, and then they want to sop them with lanolin, where you're locking in all that moisture and your breasts will never get to air dry and never get to really heal. So I definitely say express the breast milk and then just let them air dry, and that will definitely help with the healing process a lot sooner than just slathering wet nipples with a lot of lanolin. So that's my theory, you guys. Let's see, number 12, if the baby doesn't latch properly, unlatch and start over to avoid damaging your nipples. A lot of people, you know, they just want to latch the baby on and say, okay, it doesn't hurt, it kind of hurts. If the baby latches on and it doesn't have a good latch, y'all, I don't care how upset that turkey is, I don't care how upset you are, you need to go ahead and, you know, stick your finger on the side of the baby's mouth to release the suction, and just go ahead and latch that baby on, you guys, properly. Because the more you latch the baby on, you know, improperly, and they keep doing it, you know, it's a constant thing, you guys, it will damage your nipples and you will end up with sore, cracked, bleeding nipples, and that's not a good thing. So it may be a little, you know, it's annoying to have to do, but you definitely want to make sure that the baby's getting what it needs, and you want to make sure that you're getting what you need. You don't want to be, you know, trying to latch a baby on and wincing every time you latch the baby on because your nipples are so damaged. So make sure that the latch is great every time, you guys, and it's going to be trial and error at first, but like I said, break that suction, you guys, and latch that baby on properly. All right, you guys, and the last thing, my last point is to enjoy the closeness with your baby and know that you are a rock star, you guys. Establishing a breastfeeding relationship is, you know, for a lot of people, not an easy feat. And it's just, you know, you just feel really empowered, you feel really accomplished once you do that, you guys. So stick with it. Know that you're doing a wonderful thing for your baby, and know that it will get better if you're in what I call the first week hell week. So if you're in that hell week, you guys, know that it will get better, you guys. And if you start implementing the steps that I told you, then your nipples should start healing if they are, you know, broken or not broken. Broken. If they're you know, damaged, then start implementing some of these tips, you guys. And once you start seeing the healing and feeling the healing, then you will definitely be glad that you stuck with it. And just the bonding, the closeness that you feel with your little turkey, y'all, there's nothing like it. So all right, you guys, this has been my, I guess, 13 tips for establishing a good breastfeeding relationship, or just the basics of breastfeeding, I think I'll call it. So all right, you guys, if you have any more questions, comments, or concerns, leave them below, and I will see y'all in the next video. All right, bye, y'all.